Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do, I just want to talk about infused drinks. Have any of you had, who knows here, what is an infused drink?
Fruit. Yeah, it's just the fruit it gives the flavor.
That's right.
Nothing else.
If you put, like, I like cucumber in water.
I do too.
And then, or you can just cut up mint and put it in water. Just let it sit there for a while. You can do lemon, you can do lime. To get away from all the sugary teas and the sodas, start doing more infused drinks. They're good and they're healthy. Something else I do is hibiscus tea. You can get the hibiscus leaves, are really inexpensive. And I'll do 4 tablespoons in a quart and leave that sit on the counter a day or whatever, and then strain it, and I'll add maybe a couple drops of stevia, and then there's your drink. And I like that for just something different. If you just get tired of water. So, okay, I just wanted to mention the infused drinks. So the first thing we're going to do tonight is millet pudding. And my lovely assistants back there are busy putting millet pudding together that you're going to get to taste test. And who here knows what millet is?
It's a grain. Yeah.
It's actually a seed. And I'm just going to send this around just so you can look at it. But where is millet mainly found in our society?
At the store.
For who?
Birds.
Birds.
Oh.
It's the main ingredient in birdseed. And yet it's so incredibly nutritious.
Oh, wow.
So if you look at birdseed, it's the main ingredient. And yet millet, if you look it up, great nutritional seed grain, whatever you want to consider it. So, and these recipes, if you go to my website, the millet cream pudding is on there. This is great for, I'll do a layer of millet, and I'll do a layer of granola, millet, and then put a dab of this coconut Cool Whip that we're going to learn how to make, and some fresh fruit. You've got an awesome filling parfait that's really, really pretty.
Where can you get the millet?
Any health food store. Very accessible. Very accessible. Okay, so we're going to, this recipe calls for a cup of millet and 4 cups of pineapple and a half a cup of water. I just used 4.5 cups of the pineapple juice. So, and I've already done this. I usually always soak my grains. I'll put my rice or my millet, whatever, in the liquid and leave it sit for a minimum of 15 minutes. Sometimes all day, sometimes overnight, because it makes it just a fluffier rice.
Like water?
Like this was pineapple juice, but rice, it's with water. So let's see how hot this is. And are there any hot pads here anywhere?
Yeah, behind you, over right by the microwave, right there, to your right.
Perfect. The other right.
You're getting hot.
Yeah, literally. Okay, so this one has cashews, and I always soak my cashews. These are raw. Yep. And then it has lemon juice, which I already squeezed it. This is fresh lemon juice that I did ahead of time. It's always nice to have all this put together. A teaspoon of salt. I don't know what kind of salt you use, but it's good to have the real salt or the Himalayan salt. The kind that you get in the store has been stripped of its nutrients. Just like I have a whole wheat display that I use many times, and you go from the whole grain and they take out the bran, the middlings, the wheat germ oil, and they leave you with white flour. The same thing happens with salt. they strip it, and you're left with what is salt in the store?
Iodine.
What is the compounds in salt? Sodium chloride. And if you're lucky, they supplement it with iodine. You have three things. When you do these real salts, they are full of the micronutrients, micro ingredients.
What about salty salt?
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Sea salt.
These have like 30 some micro, 80 micronutrients. So this is why you want to do the real salt. And when you start eating healthy, the average American consumes about 4,000 milligrams of salt a day because of
Ancient fine sea salt.
like that refried beans I opened up. When you start looking at labels at how much salt, it's crazy. So when you start eating healthy, you're not going to have to worry about getting too much salt. And you can be using this kind of salt. Okay, and this has a tablespoon of vanilla. It is a lot. And I usually always use real, but I was traveling and I grabbed this. It's a small size, and that's what I have tonight. I have imitation, which I usually don't use. And then we have honey. I just wanted to teach you a trick tonight. I don't know if any of you use any Pampered Chef, but I love this little Pampered Chef thing that you put the oil in. Because if you have peanut butter or honey or anything like that to put in a container, you know how it sticks? It won't stick when you put a little layer of this in it. This is raw. Well,
Raw is salt.
here too, I was on the road. At my house I use.
Raw is solid. It's not liquid.
Oh no, mine's liquid.
Raw honey?
Raw honey is very liquidy.
Really?
But see how clean that comes out? You don't have to like.
When it sits over time, it gets more solid.
I
Yeah.
bought some at I bought some at Sprouts or whatever that's solid. I think it's like thicker than peanut butter.
Yeah,
Mark, you can get
That's
it in
not
the
raw.
car.
It's not sitting one.
What?
You can get it in the car.
Yeah, maybe you got some at home.
Okay, so when it's out of the cone, it's liquid?
Okay, so when you're cooking up your millet, it's going to look like this. And to do this recipe, I've learned always do the millet when it's hot. It just works better. So we're going to put this in here. It's been cooking while I was talking upstairs. And it's just all these ladies have been. Cindy was awesome. Got this all together.
How long does it take to cook?
Millet cooks just like any other grain, like the rice is. I bring it to a boil, and then 20 minutes, I turn it down on low, and then turn it off. So, and then we're going to use the pineapple juice. Crushed pineapple. Does this have a lot of sugar in it? Yeah, it does. But it's from the fruit. And I'm going to start whizzing this before I put the last of this in here. And having a good blender is just critical, whether it's a Blendtec or a Vitamix. But I use my Vitamix. This one's like almost 20 years old. We'll add the rest of this. You will be amazed at how good this is. And again, you can serve this anytime I bring this to potluck. I'll serve it as a dessert. But again, it can also be used as a breakfast with granola and some fresh fruit. That's pretty full. Okay, and that's it. That's all there is to it. And you put it in a bowl, and now you're going to taste it. Ladies, is that ready to serve? The millet pudding?
Yeah.
And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the coconut Cool Whips. I'm going to tell you, I'm having a hard time with the Cool Whips lately. You take coconut milk, a high-fat one. It used to be this brand worked, and then it didn't for a while. And then I had recently another brand that worked till just recently. And now I'm finding this Thai organic coconut milk is working. It's so frustrating. So what you do is you're going to put this solid, and even these, I opened them ahead of time, and one of them didn't set up. The other ones did. Probably in half. There should be enough. Yeah, there's enough there to cut them in half. Okay, what do you think of that?
That's amazing. Very
So
good.
good.
It's incredible.
Tastes like cheesecake.
I love it.
Yeah.
Everybody but Caden knows.
Like it?
Well, you remind me of banana cream pie, but I'm missing the crust.
Oh.
So we need some
Crust.
I
crust
think
in
we
there.
need
We
coconut Cool Whip.
need some graham cracker crust at the bottom.
Amazing.
So what you're going to do with this is you put this in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours, and it's going to separate, and it's going to be this. You're going to pour the liquid part off, and then with the liquid part, I use that for my smoothies. I do a green smoothie every morning, and that's my breakfast.
So what do you put in it? The green smoothie?
My green smoothies, it's greens, coconut water, or if I have this coconut milk, I do chia seeds, and I do one banana. Like now it's cucumber time. I throw a cucumber in there. I have mint in my garden, so I'm throwing mint in there right now. Okay, so this is awesome that this did this.
Put a jalapeno in it.
I don't like that strong. See this one? Just like the rest? Oh, it did set up a little bit. Part of it set up. I always have coconut milk like this in my fridge, always. So I can make in my fridge ready. See, most of this didn't set up. Isn't that crazy? See, why is that? There's no rhyme or reason. There's not much in this one that's... Okay, so for every can of coconut milk, you use 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, which Ricky was kind enough to bring me some. Let me wash my hands. Two tablespoons of maple syrup and 1 teaspoon of vanilla.
So I missed the beginning. How would you differentiate maple syrup honey from regular sugar, and how to still moderate fat?
You know, that's a good question. I always use 100% pure. At least it's a pure food.
Right.
And honey is a pure food
Right.
versus table sugar.
Right.
Because this wouldn't be super palatable without it. So, okay, we had 3 cans, right? So how many of these does that make? And how many of these do I need? 3. 1 teaspoon of vanilla per can and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup.
You said the maple syrup helps it sit up better?
The maple syrup, no. It's just the coconut. It's the coconut milk that needs to be in the fridge. Okay, now some of this water is going to have to go back to mix this, and because I've done this for a long time, you just get a feel for it. So let's see what happens here. And that's it. And you have coconut Cool Whip. Just like that. And we're going to use, oh, there's one chunk in there. We're going to use this and we're going to put it on our chocolate pudding that we're making too. Yes, chocolate pudding! That's exciting, isn't it? I love chocolate. We're going to use this on the pudding. See, even the youngsters, when you say chocolate or sugar, they are all on it. So, I'm going to take that one. Okay, so that's our coconut Cool Whip. Is that very hard to make? No, not at all. Okay, the next one I want to do, they're called Energy Bites. So, the Energy Bites.
Oh yeah, I need that. I'm taking that with me.
I wanted to just show you guys what I do. I've been collecting recipes for years, and it used to be like they're all shoved in a drawer. So what I did, when I still had the luxury of being a passenger, I took all my recipes, and I have 2 of these books. This one has my appetizers, soups, seasonings, desserts, and smoothies. And the other, my other cookbook has my entrees and salads and all that kind of thing. So I have lots and lots of healthy recipes. And so it's just fun. I love to experiment and do new things.
Yeah.
I've had so many people say, when are you going to do a cookbook? I was like, oh, hard telling. Okay, these Energy Bites are really, really super, super simple. So all this has is 1 cup of oats and a half a cup of flax meal. I already put those together. I always use fresh flax, and I put it, you know, in my coffee grinder. That's the only thing my coffee grinder is used for, is putting flax seed through and making flax meal. So I put that together already, and I did that. And then chia seeds. How many of you are familiar with chia seeds? They're awesome. Chia seeds, they're just really fine little things. And they're full, they're seeds, just like the millet, just like the flax. They're all in the seed family. And then the half a cup of nut butter. Okay, so I don't want my almond butter to stick. So what should I do with this? Spray it with
1/3 of a second of pan.
You know, that's another reason why I will not use, when you look at the ingredient list in PAM, it's chemicals. This is olive oil. And this is in a Pampered Chef spray bottle. If anybody needs a Pampered Chef rep, we have one in our church. I just want to put a plug in for her. So this, we're going to spray this.
Pretty cool thing. I like that.
And then I like to use, you can use any kind of nut butter you want. This one, we're just going to happen to use almond butter.
Caramel almond.
Wait just as well till we mix this, and then we can. I want their total attention. So I'm going to pour that out, and there it is. Just comes out so easily. Not quite as good as the honey, but next best thing. And then it has the honey, which I know they're borrowing. And it calls for 1/4 of a cup. And this one, how much was this? This was a half a cup. So we're not going to quite fill this up all the way because I don't want to dirty another container. And when I'm doing my shows online, we always have all these measured out and ready, so I just have to dump them.
Nice catch.
Okay. And then we have, sometimes I use carob chips, sometimes I use cacao chips. Has anybody heard of cacao? Okay. Cacao is the natural form of cocoa. Cocoa has been processed, but cacao is like the raw form of carob. It's very high in antioxidants, and it's relatively healthier. Carob comes from the carob bean. This comes from cocoa. So carob probably. So I have some people that are just they are much more conscious. This will have caffeine in it because it comes from cocoa. And all you do here is mix this together. You roll them up in a ball, and you put them on a cookie sheet, and you put them in the freezer. And now you're going to eat them. So now you can hand out those little balls. And those are called energy bites. These are great for a snack, and they're just loaded with healthy nutrients. Instead of grabbing a candy bar, I like having stuff like this in my fridge. How many in what? Yeah, I just make, you're gonna, right there. And these will be ready to put in bowls and put on a sheet. That's it.
I like granola bars, but here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to put the coconut in. You can put coconut in or not. So.
You forgot the
Yeah,
coconut?
gotta have coconut.
Man.
Well, here.
Vivian.
Here. I'll put it in. Because you're trying them anyway.
These got coconut in it, right?
Yeah, they do.
You can put some garlic in
And
it.
you're gonna let me, I'll take those home with me.
I love garlic.
Got some garlic in it.
I love garlic.
And to be honest, I like them in the freezer. I just like them really cold. These are ones, they either need to be in the fridge or the freezer. Because they get too soft if they're out. What do you think of those? Aren't those good? Yeah, I like those.
Should I give them out second?
While they're getting my container ready here, I just want to talk about walnut cookies. This is, are any of you familiar with Dr. Neil Nedley? Depression recovery. He talks about the importance of getting high omega-3s in your diet, which your chia seed, your flax seed are very high in those. Those are, we're bombarded in our society with all processed foods with omega-6s. And we need them, but not as much as we're eating.
I just said processed food. Would you like me to share that little?
Yes, please. Can you come and talk so this can hear you?
He's got a loud mouth.
Jeremy was just sharing this with me. This is interesting. So I want this to be captured.
Okay. I'll just speak into it. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was on our stew pot that we got on our bulletin this week. It says that there is $500 billion a year spent in groceries at the store. And how much of that do you think is in meat and in vegetables? Only $100 billion. That means $400 billion is spent on processed foods. Processed foods.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And we want to know why we're so sick and diseased. So anyway, I just want to talk to you about, this is one of Dr. Nedley's books in his depression recovery book, and this is walnut maple cookies. All that's in here, normally you have your main ingredient is flour and sugar, right, in cookies? Well, this one is ground walnuts. So I have a food processor and I grind my walnuts. So I have walnut flour. And then for me, I'm gluten-free in my house as a rule. You can use whole wheat flour, or for those of you who are gluten intolerant, this is a great grain. And what this one is, excuse me, made of is rice flour, flaxseed, quinoa, buckwheat, amaranth, arrowroot. So it's just a good, yeah, it's a good flour
You get
replacement.
that at Sprouts?
Actually, ordered it online.
Oh, did you?
I found it here originally and then can't find it anymore, so we ordered it online. So it has that flour, salt, flaxseed meal. So again, I'm busy with my coffee grinder. And carob chips or cacao chips, or if you want to use chocolate chips, it's your deal. It has quite a bit of maple syrup. That's the sweetener in here. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That's all that's in this cookie recipe. And I want you to try that one next. Okay, this is my ice cream. I make this a lot. My grandkids love this. When they come to my house, can you make us ice cream? So, Mark.
Can I put strawberries in that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, for
I
sure.
need a bananas, but I like other stuff.
Absolutely. This, tonight, for demonstration purposes, we're doing banana smoothies. What you do is you can hold out one of the bananas and add strawberries. You can hold it out and add raspberries. You can have this and add some peanut butter and make a peanut butter smoothie. It is delicious.
Some garlic in it.
No garlic. Okay, so we're going to do on this one, all that's in here is bananas, dates, and pecans. A third of a cup of dates.
You're giving us these recipes, right?
They're on my website. Okay, a half a cup of pecans, 3 frozen bananas.
Would you put dates in there?
Yeah, you want one? You don't like dates?
You won't even know
I
it's
never
dates.
went on one when I was a kid, and since I
And we're
got
going to
married, I've
do
never
2
been on
cups
one
of
then.
almond milk or soy
only
milk.
do
Has
one
anybody
day.
tried the new flax milk that's out? Oh, it's delicious. That's my new go-to is flax as a rule. In fact, I could have used that here too, but I was about out.
I thought you said fox.
Oh, flax. Flax. And a half a teaspoon of vanilla.
I'm afraid I better take a sample home.
Okay, so we have the dates, the pecans, bananas. I'm going to do this first, and then we'll add our ice. I'm going to mix this some more, but you can make this the consistency you want. Like I like it really thick, so just keep adding. I may need to do another batch, but so that's how, you know, it's thick, just like Dairy Queen. Now, on here, also, you can sprinkle some nuts on it. If you want some, you know, crushed up nuts, and you can put a dab of that coconut Cool Whip on it, and it's delicious. We'll probably need to, we can make more. Well, I mean, the bananas are really high in sugar, the dates are high. You know, this night, you're not going to be eating like this. You know, you're going to have a small cup of this at the end of a meal, and
25 grams of sugar cooking.
and how much? What's a serving? Okay, so 5 days, so 25 divided by 4 is
5.
Six.
So
Yeah, six.
there's that much, but it's the natural sugar. But you still gotta be, careful. Okay, so your ice cream is coming. You can have that with your cookie. And I heard you didn't have ice, so I brought some. We can make up more ice cream when I'm done. Okay, the next thing I want to do is the bananas in a blanket, which I think the ladies already have done. But I just want to demo one of them for you. Are there any left to demo? Did you use them all? I wanted to show them how to do that banana in a blanket. Okay, then I'll just talk about it. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Okay. I did that. Are there any wraps left? You've heard about pig in a blanket. We're going to do a banana in a blanket. And so for these, you can take these wraps, these whole wheat wraps that you can get at the health food store. I really appreciate the ladies helping here, because this could not be done without their assistance. And I'm just going to use this lid. So all you do, I usually get the organic, the natural. So you can use almond butter, cashew butter, whatever you want. And you're going to spread this on here. That was towards the end, so it's going to be lumpy. This is an awesome snack for kids. I was at camp meeting, and Chef Mark Anthony was there, if you're familiar with him. And he had this as a snack. And now I've been doing this at my house, and when my grandkids come over, hey, can we do bananas in a blanket? They love these. And they're so easy to make. So you drizzle, if you want, you don't have to, you can just stop here. But just to give it a little more flavor, just to drizzle a little honey. And if you want, these are carob chips. Or you can do chocolate chips if you want, or not. You can just do the banana. But all you're doing is you're wrapping this in here.
Now this is only going to be 1 tube per family. So husband and wife, you have to share. Oh, sorry. So Mark, you better get over here.
I got mine.
So that is, and the bananas in a blanket are coming out
Can I
next.
eat it or?
The next thing I'm going to share with you does not go at all tonight with what I have, but I was talking about vegan snacks for kids. And another one is celery with peanut butter with raisins on it. Ants on a log. So you're going to get one of those tonight, which doesn't go with this, but just to answer. Dip it in your ice cream.
I have another quick one that's good for like a breakfast that I do sometimes, like whole grain bread with almond butter, drizzle apple slices, and then drizzle honey and cinnamon on it.
Yes.
And that's good.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And if you do strawberries and these, you cut them like sushi rolls and call it sushi.
Oh, thank you.
Put different colors in there to make it look like sushi.
Thank you. Good idea. Something else for kids I just want to talk about real quick, because it's hard to feed kids today, is you know, a veggie tray with hummus. You know, not all kids like hummus either, but that's just something else, or even for us. Cucumber sandwiches is kind of fun, cutting the cucumbers and just putting little things in there. Veggie pizzas, taking the little English muffins and putting tomato sauce with veggies. And I make multiple different kinds of cheeses, vegan cheeses that I make a millet cheese, I make a nacho cheese, I have another regular nacho cheese that I make with potatoes and carrots. So all these different cheeses you could do to make, but that wasn't tonight's topic. I was told to talk about desserts. And the other thing, the last thing I want to talk about, snacks. I have one more I'm going to demo, but as far as vegan snacks, popcorn. You know, when you think of popcorn, what do we instantly want to put on that popcorn?
Butter, salt and butter.
Salt and butter, exactly. But here's something to try. If you have an air popper, if you air pop your popcorn, and you take, do you know what Bragg's liquid amino is? Take some Bragg's liquid amino and some nutritional yeast, mix that together, put that on your salt and mix it in, because your Bragg's liquid amino, it's going to give you what flavor? The salt. Nutritional yeast gives you a nutty flavor. It is delicious. Something else to do is, because that is low in fat, because you're not putting any oil on it. The other one is with oil, melting coconut oil, again, a little salt, putting nutritional yeast on it, and some dill seed. That's really good. But those are some great variations for popcorn for a Saturday night. So, I want to bring that up. Yeah, I'm going to have to put that in some kind of container. Okay. The last thing.
Vivian?
Yes.
Down under this cabinet, there might be some.
Empty container? Okay.
Snow corn.
I'll look later. Okay, the last thing we're going to do tonight that wasn't on my original list, but I was laying in bed thinking, I love chocolate. So if I love chocolate, I know other people probably are going to like chocolate. So I wanted to make some chocolate pudding. You will be amazed at how good this is. Okay, this one is chocolate pudding. One of the main ingredients is dates. And normally I steam these at home for a little bit, but they're pretty soft, so we're going to bypass that step. Okay, I'm going to whiz this a little bit ahead of time because I didn't steam them. Okay, 1 cup of almond milk.
Now, is that almond or flax?
This is almond. Same thing I use for the ice cream, but you can use whatever. And because these are not steamed, I just want to whiz this a little bit ahead of time. Okay, this is going to call for a ½ teaspoon of vanilla. A pinch of salt, which I didn't bring salt. I don't know where salt here. Oh, right here. Pinch. How much is a pinch? I have nothing come out yet. So a cup of dates, 2 medium avocados. This one is kind of big. That's okay. Oh, avocados are so healthy, and they have such awesome fat in them. And they're so good. You know how to take the pit out?
There, she's gonna show you.
Bam.
Well, normally you just need a sharper knife. And just,
Or if you squeeze, you have, or sometimes you squeeze the avocado and slide that out.
yeah.
Put your phone in?
They might have some empty containers
Then
here.
go down to the city mark, not city mark. Down to the
But if we can't find one, then yeah.
And you go in and you ask for ready avocados. Put it in your refrigerator, it's been a long time. Taste.
You can freeze avocados. You do that?
It's hard to find exactly.
You get it?
They sell all the good ones to the restaurants and stuff.
Because this one avocado is so big, I'm just gonna stick with 1.5. The other thing is, cacao
You got 2 numbers.
powder. Here, wash my hands.
And you try that.
Yeah, people I know, but, you know, like if you make a salad or anything with avocado.
So again, cacao powder, cacao chips, very high in antioxidants.
Wow.
So instead of a third of a cup. And optional maca powder. Has anybody heard of maca powder?
No.
Maca powder is great energy food. It's, again, it's good for the male and female organs. Supposedly libido, it's increased with this. I'll run out and get one. So you can use a little bit of that, plus it gives it a richer flavor. If anybody wants to read about it, it's on there, you can look it up. And then this is also optional, it just makes it creamier. I put in some coconut oil. Give it a creamier taste. And then, there we go. And there is your chocolate pudding. And that's what you're gonna be served next.
You said that blender's 20 years old.
This is, I've borrowed different Vitamixes here tonight. Did you put the coconut Cool Whip? Yes, they did. And there's a little coconut Cool Whip on top for you to try. Okay, what do you think of that one?
No, thank you. I cannot eat anymore, otherwise I will implode.
On desserts, all desserts.
Oh my word.
A meal of desserts.
I can't. My stomach.
And just think, you're eating dates and avocados, essentially.
Have you ever had the avocado cookies with oats and flaxseed and?
I haven't.
Misty will give you that recipe. That's a good one.
Okay, I'm always looking for new recipes. Okay, I hope you've learned some new things tonight. I really appreciate your time. It's just such a joy for me to be able to share these different recipes, how we can eat healthier. You know, here again, there's sugar in these things, but not the processed sugars. And so, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.